COVID. Our next section is our Q&A panel, and we do have a lot of questions. We're going to have to cut it a bit short, but the questions that people have sent in have been, we can answer them offline. Our first question, well, in fact, Emily, we have a lot of questions for you. But one of the questions is, if you know you have genetics Alzheimer's, the gene for having Alzheimer's disease, for example, early onset Alzheimer's disease, will lifestyle changes or adaptations affect whether or not you get it?
Thank you, Lynn. That's a very good question. The genes that cause the familial form of Alzheimer's or the other familial dementias, we describe them as being causative genes because their influence on whether or not we develop the dementia in question is so conclusive. If you have the gene mutation, it is almost certain that you will develop the dementia that gene is known to cause. There is some limited research data available that suggests that maybe lifestyle factors such as exercising or mental stimulation, diet, etc., can play a role in potentially delaying the onset of symptoms, but that research is very limited, and the impact of those lifestyle changes is thought to be quite minimal overall.
Thank you. Next question for Julie Robillard. Do you have any information about the value of social robots in residential care during COVID?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for that question. There's a lot of really interesting benefits about having social robots in residential care or in people's homes. But there's a lot of considerations that are sort of specific to COVID, like infection control. So I'll get to that in just a little bit. But in terms of what they could do in those environments, the first thing that I want to say and make very clear is that nobody is suggesting or proposing that social robots replace human care or human interaction. There's a lot of fear around that, and I can sort of confirm that in the robot development and research sort of world that nobody is suggesting that. So it's really as a complement to human care and human interaction. And in the home care environment, they can serve as great devices for as a calming presence or as a distraction. One of the things we don't often think about, but robots are really good for, is fostering interactions between humans, as opposed to just between the human and the robot. So they're great conversation starters, and they're a great way to get a lot of people to sort of engage with each other. Now, of course, with COVID, it's limited what we can do in that department in terms of in-person contact. They can also help in long-term care and home care environments with monitoring. So robots are very good at detecting falls, for example. Some robots, not all robots. They're also pretty good at detecting moods and pain levels and things like that. So all of these video and audio signals that can be used to engage with the end user can also be used to get a sense of how they're doing, both physically and emotionally. And some robots have telepresence functionality, so they can be operated by someone who's not in the room. So that can be a way to supplement contact through interaction with these devices. So there's a lot of potential ways they can be used in these environments, but we have to think about, of course, infection control. So right now, how we clean them and how we disinfect them in between users is very important. And unfortunately, that rules out the use of robots that have fur, because those tend to be harder to clean. So pros and cons at this time.
Thank you. Maria, there's some questions. There are some questions related to how COVID has affected programs, and you did talk about that at the end of your talk. So I'd like to move on to another question. Someone has asked about whether or not, and why not, you follow up people who have participated in programs that the ASBC supports, whether they were participants 5 years ago or 2 years ago and no longer participate. Is there a way that you follow that up?
Yes, thank you, Lynn. It is really important to keep connected to people who have participated in our programs, whether they have been referred to the society and haven't yet started, or they are actually participating, or that they were participating and have stopped. There are so many reasons why people may stop participating in a program, which may be related to the person living with dementia and their abilities or other health issues. It may be also that their care partner, their care is no longer able to support them. And so we want to continue to reach out. We do that predominantly through the phone. And we do have a process where people who used to participate who don't anymore, we will still contact them once or twice a year. We also hope that they will still be open to receiving our newsletters and our information about our education webinars, so that they can continue to have contact through the virtual element. But that phone contact is so important, because people's lives do change. And like I said before, dementia is just only one aspect of people's lives, and so many other things can happen in lives. So what we want to ensure that someone who is participating, who maybe can't for a while, still has contact. And if they are able to come back or want to do something maybe different, that they still have that information. So it is very important to keep participating or contacting people even after they've gone into care.
Thank you very much, Maria. I've just take a minute to ask Nita Levy the question. She said, it's kind of a double question. What can we do to create more places like Paul's Club, and is Paul's Club affiliated with the Alzheimer Society?
Oh, okay. Thank you for the question. First of all, I'll answer the second part first. Although we are not affiliated with the Alzheimer Society, we certainly work in tandem with them, and they have been amazing. Through their First Links program, they will tell people about Paul's Club. So it's a wonderful relationship. And the first part of the question about we're always open to talking to people and reaching out and talking to other groups in Canada and share what we've learned, and always open to that. But for us, Vancouver is what we are doing right now is everything that we feel we can do, but we can certainly help people in terms of advice or support. We are always open to that.
Thank you very much.